Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Thoughtful Leaders, an initiative under Thoughts on Education by Collegedunia.com. So, today we have with us Miss Sneha Bhadauriya. She is the faculty at Ecole Intuit Lab, teaching digital product design to students. So, welcome to the show, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Really looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, ma'am. So, with a brief introduction about today's speaker, Ms. Sneha Bhadauriya is teaching digital product design at Ecole Intuit Lab, Mumbai campus. What she brings to the table is 10 years of experience in the field of design. Ms. Sneha strongly believes in the magic that design brings to every human it touches. She has a strong grip on understanding businesses and users, which helps her design holistic solutions, focusing on ROI and delight to the end users. Starting out as a terracotta artist, she has climbed the ladders and now teaching digital product design to budding designers and aspiring design students. Welcome to the show, ma'am. So, beginning with the interview, my first question to you is, being a senior designer in the industry, what motivates you to be connected with the education sector?
So I think over the years, the one pattern I've seen is there's a major gap between what's happening in the industry and what's being taught in design schools. And sometimes I feel that if more people who are in the industry already went back to the academia and started teaching or devoting some amount of their time there, that gap's going to continuously reduce. And I think that's my motivation, to just work with better designers in the industry tomorrow. This is my way of just giving back a little.
Okay, ma'am. So this brings me to next question. Since you are associated with Ecole Intuit Lab, could you please explain how does the curriculum here at Ecole Intuit Lab ensures that the students are being prepared for the future?
So what's really unique about Ecole Intuit Lab is that there's a mixed bunch of things that are happening there. So a kid is not only exposed to one domain or one sector of it, they're exposed to design or an overall system. So say, for example, if you were building a product today, you would have a marketing team, you'd have a sales team, you'd have a graphics team, you'd have a product team, and you'll have so many different aspects of an entire project. And what I loved about the curriculum here was that they're exposing an individual, a child, to all of this. And then they go ahead and pick what they're really interested in and go deeper into that one aspect, but they're exposed to it all. So when you walk into the industry, when people like me will use big terms and, use corporate jargon, these kids are not going to be scared. And I think that's the beauty of the curriculum at Ecole Intuit Lab.
Okay. So this brings me to the next question, ma'am. How do you try to bring in a practical approach towards students and to make it more industry-oriented as well as interesting for the students?
All right, so this one gets a little tough because when you're in college, right, as a kid or as a child, and I would go back to when I was in college, you're always in the mode of, oh, you tell me what to do and I'll do it. But when you're in the industry, you're told once what needs to be the end output. And then you're supposed to figure it out. And if you're stuck, you ask for help. So I think this is the first thing that I try and want to change. And that's exactly what I tell all the kids as well. If you've not understood something, go ahead and Google it. Don't only depend on me to, go ahead and teach you every nitty-gritty. So I think a little bit of doing things on your own is the first thing that I bring to the table. And I really like kids going on their own. The second thing that I focus on is when I have to provide input or feedback, I try and keep it very, very objective, like it would be in the industry. In the industry, nobody cajoles you. Nobody's like, oh, it's okay, beta, next time you will do better. In the industry, either you're in or you're fired. So I think that's something also that I, sort of bring to the table a lot. And I'm sure some of my kids may hate me for doing that, but in the longer run, I know it's going to pay off. Then coming to the practical aspects of how the industry functions, I'm trying very hard not to give them any project which is purely hypothetical. I'm making sure that they do projects which are more realistic, where they've spent time, done their research, It's almost feasible. So if they go get investment on an idea tomorrow, they should be able to build it. And that's the sort of things we're building together. So I think this is what helps me keep it very practical, keep it very close to the industry, and also keep them updated to what's happening outside and not just in the academic world. So I think that covers what I feel strongly about it.
Okay, ma'am. Very well articulated. So my next question to you is, in continuation to the previous one, what are the interventions and approaches you bring in apart from the curriculum to train or rather teach the students?
That's again a great one. So the curriculum usually says that, okay, you know what, at the end of the semester, they should be able to build, a design, a digital product. But I like to go a little on the blurry lines and, talk about things that the kids would be interested about. So we'd speak about things like how the human brain functions, or we get into biases and cognitive science and psychology. And I feel that when you start introducing them to the peripheral reasons of why user experience or digital products are being designed a certain way, the interest of a child increases because now they're realizing where it all started from. So I don't just like to jump into the theory. I love to go to the history, talk about how things started, what changed over the years, why did it change, how did it evolve, and so on and so forth. Another thing that I like to do is a lot of small activities, not just big activities. So a lot of tiny activities. And I'm not somebody who's going to ask and follow up again and again that, hey, have you done it or not? By the end of the semester, if you've done it, great, I'll mark you on it. If you haven't, that's also fine by me. Until the time you're learning. So it could be that, you want to go ahead and explore a whole new technology while you're still taking my class, and I'm open to that. So I think those are the interventions that sort of work out more, because that helps people figure out what they like a lot more, spend more time on it instead of it just being like, okay, I'll give you 5 chapters, you read them, mug them up, and puke them out when I give you a test. So I really don't like that approach, and this is what I take the approach to be.
Okay, ma'am. So this brings me to the next question. So what do you think are the greatest strengths of Ecole Intuit Lab?
I think the greatest strength that they have is student participation. I haven't seen an academic structure where student participation in understanding their curriculum, picking subjects, to even picking their teachers. So if you're at Ecole Intuit Labs as a teacher, you need to be very worried if the students think you're not, to the par, or you can't explain or teach them what they want to learn. They'll go ahead and say it out loud. And I love how empowered they are. They're allowed to pick their own teacher. They're allowed to pick the subjects. They're allowed to say, oh, you know what, we don't like this module, we like that module. So I think this participation or collective learning from both ends, where the student and the teacher are, both giving feedback to each other, what makes it much, much more rich. And I think that's something that our education system, I think that's what our education system as a whole misses today. Student participation. All decisions are made by teachers who have sometimes not even worked in the industry for 10 years. And it's crazy. So imagine somebody who's not designed a product in 10 years comes and teaches you design. And they have no say in telling you that, oh, this works or not. So I think that participation between teacher and student and the entire administration is what makes it very, very unique. And I think that's exactly what's going to take them forward.
Okay, so this brings me to the next question. Being from design industry, what are the challenges that you particularly see in design education today?
All right. So this one's my favorite question, because I think this is the most relevant in today's time. There are a lot of design schools, or a lot of design courses that have started coming up, especially after the pandemic, right? What I've seen as a pattern, the application of the theory is very bleak. People don't know how to apply what they've learned. And even when they start learning how to apply it, it's very half-baked. So it's not complete, it's not in its entirety. People don't know why they're applying something a certain way. The laws, principle, basics are not clear. It's like if you had to do work in mathematics, you need to know your basics of maths. And if you don't know your basics in maths, you're not going to be able to go to the next standard or to a next session in the college and things like that. So people have not taken design like that. People say that, hey, I'll pick it up from anywhere. I just need to learn a few tools and I'll move into that. So that doesn't really work. It's exactly as scientific as science can get. So when people start looking at theory and its application in its entirety, I think that's when design education in India is going to get much better. And that's the main gap.
Okay, ma'am. So this brings me to the last question for the day. Any suggestions you would like to give to the current youth and aspiring students?
I think there are two suggestions, just two of them. The first one would be don't worry about the sort of work you start doing. Just go ahead and start doing some work. Freelance, collaborate with other people. The more work you'll do, the more you're learning. The theory and the practical bit will also function out the moment you start working on multiple things. And the second thing would be please read up. Read a lot. Google has so much information. Just go find what you're looking for. Read multiple objectives and multiple ways of seeing the same problem. So, for example, if you have to read up about how to do a competitive analysis, don't go to the first blog and just do it as is. Read another 5-7 and make an informed decision about which method works for you, what is in context to your problem statement, and go ahead with that. So, just two things: do a lot of great work. And great work does not mean it's small or big, just work. And read up a lot from different perspectives and learn.
Okay, ma'am. So thank you for your session, ma'am. I hope this was quite insightful for the audience.
Thank you.
Yeah, ma'am. So everyone, this was Sneha Bhadauriya, faculty at the Ecole Intuit Lab, in today's session of Thoughtful Leaders and Initiative under Thoughts on Education by Collegedunia.com. Thank you once again, ma'am, for talking to us, spending your time amidst a busy schedule.
No problem. I really had fun. Thank you so much for having me over.
Yeah. Thank you very much, ma'am.